Tamil Nadu has long been considered the Detroit of India, and the biggest automotive names like Hyundai, Kia, TVS, Royal Enfield, Ola, they're all over here. And talking to me about what makes Tamil Nadu special as a manufacturing base, which has a ring of suppliers around it, and what's being done to lure even more manufacturing, especially with EVs. I have the pleasure of talking to Dr. TRB Rajaa, the Honorable Minister for Industries. Dr. Rajaa, thanks so much for talking to us. Just straight off the bat, first question. Tamil Nadu, strong manufacturing base. What makes it so special?
Well, it's the culture, it's the atmosphere, it's the stability, it's the policy continuity. That's the most important part. I think Tamil Nadu has always been a manufacturing hub. Started with a cluster in Coimbatore, and slowly as we built up, and especially in the auto industry, we've always been a leader, and we've probably hit the peak when it really mattered. So we got there when the world really needed it, and we've sustained that leader.
You are the largest, I think, producer of EVs when it comes to numbers.
Yes, we are.
And I think, you've got Ola India, which is really mega in terms of two-wheelers. But, increasing your footprint, you have, let's say, you've announced an ambition to attract about 6 billion or 50,000 crores of investment, especially on EVs over here. That's quite a big number. How do you propose to achieve that, and really what's being done?
As you said, this is the automobile capital of India, and we are already the EV capital of India too. Our Chief Minister has a very clear-cut mandate. He's given me a very clear-cut mandate to make this the EV capital of India. We already have 46% of all the two-wheelers that roll out of India, comes out of Tamil Nadu. So we have our manufacturing capacity is already built to scale, and we're doing better every month. We're increasing. There are a lot of other new interests that have come up, and I'm sure going forward, anyone who's looking at putting up an EV industry will first come into Tamil Nadu, and we're not going to let them go out.
Right. So clearly a plan to lure more and more EV manufacturers here and even keep the current ones here. But I understand you had a meeting with about 30 CEOs. What came out of that? Can you share the context of those discussions?
Lots. First of all, we were very happy that they were all praised for the Guidance Bureau. Guidance is where everybody comes in first, and that's where they get to know about Tamil Nadu. So I was very happy that all of them said Guidance is doing a fabulous job. So that we know, yes, but when it comes from the industry and they approve that our job is done well, then we're happy. But more than that, I was very happy about the inputs that I got. Specific inputs like issues with permit, right? So we got this about 15 days back. And we took it to the CMO immediately. I took it to the CMO immediately, and I told him that this is the problem, and this is where creating demand is being hit. And immediately he swung at action, and in flat 15 days flat, we had this GO come out just the day before yesterday. And I'm sure the EV industry in Tamil Nadu is very happy about it. So now this demand creation has happened. I must say, of all the EVs that are being manufactured, only 6% is being sold in Tamil Nadu. That is something which worries me and which we want to address immediately. I think we've started to address that in a quick manner. And I think soon we will also have a good amount of EVs being bought in Tamil Nadu. Another hitch that came to the fore when all the EV representatives came was a charging infrastructure. Then again, that is something that, multiple departments have to come together to ensure that the charging infrastructure is put in place. And the Chief Minister immediately put this high-level committee together now. So we're going to have that talk in a week or so. And I think a good amount of pace you're going to see some good amount of pace in the charging.
So can you just elaborate a bit more on charging infrastructure? Because what's being done, from what we understand, that is one of the main kind of deterrents now for EV purchase. Price is there, yes, we know. Range is also there, but range in a way is linked to charging infrastructure. The better the charging infrastructure, the range issue is there. So what is specifically being done, and
See, for charging infrastructure, you didn't put the high power inputs, right? So, and to get the transformers in place, and wherever you want your charging infrastructure, if you want to put up a transformer, that it becomes an issue. Kerala has done a good job with this. They've opened up their substations, right? So when you have your charging infra closer to the SS, then you get that part of the problem is solved. It's not going to solve all our problems, but that's a good place to start. So, I mean, we do learn from states that perform well also. So, we've learned from them, and that is probably where we'll start. That's going to give a quick boost to the infrastructure along the highways.
Right.
So, wherever there are substations, we're trying to bring in plug-in stations there. So, that will solve the mental block of all those who want to purchase EV vehicles.
Right. And again, just sticking to charging infra, I mean, other issues, softer issues are in building societies. Well, that's more of an issue. Places like Mumbai and all, where, just getting your home charging is a bit of a challenge. So I think that really is the key, because EVs are very kind of, let's say, an urban phenomenon still, where the home charging plays a big role in promoting demand. So I don't know what's being done.
So we're concentrating on 6 cities: Chennai, Coimbatore, Salem, Madurai, Tirunelveli, Trichy. And these areas, we're going to focus on these areas and make sure the infra is ready. So the mobility is maxed there. And we do want to help make sure that shared mobility is also helped. So that infra that is being put in place must have the personal, the homeowner and the shared mobility space.
Right. Coming back to, let's say, fiscal incentives as well. There's things like road tax, registration, a state subject. What's being done in that regard? Because that really is a big trigger as well. I mean, you've got the 5% GST at the central level, which is great, but a lot of states are also offering their own incentives in that regard.
We have quite a few attractive incentives lined up. We are doing one better than most states. The regulars are on the EV policy itself. But what we do want to push for is the incentives that we give the manufacturer when they come and shop, right?
Right.
That's why we could get some of the biggest investments. We have that not just the EV space, not the vehicle space, the car space and the two-wheeler space, the battery space is something which we are also very...
Could you elaborate a bit on that?
Elaborating would be an issue, because you do know there's a hell of a competition between the states to
so
get into that. So
what's the space you are doing something to attract battery manufacturers?
So when an international investor comes in, the way we handle them, there is a difference. There is a difference, and that shows in the investor confidence.
So that's a competitive advantage, you think?
Yes, I do think it is. Yes, our admins are a huge advantage for us.
And there will be some fiscal benefits as well, which elaborate on, right?
Yeah, obviously.
So obviously making Tamil Nadu a very preferred destination now. The one automaker everyone is vying for whatever reason, is Tesla, the poster boy of the EV space. Direct question, have you spoken to Elon Musk or Tesla, and what's your view to get them here?
I'll just play it safe by saying our Prime Minister also started that work for, I'm sure he's done
but I'm sure the states are...
I'm sure he's done it for Tamil Nadu also. But yes, our Chief Minister has been... the Chief Minister's office has been in talks with a lot of big players. That's all I would want to say.
Right. So you're not saying it, but you're saying it. Fair enough. Okay. But again, just coming back to the OEMs, clearly,
I'll tell you why we are where we are, why Tamil Nadu is at the top, right?
Right.
The industry institution link is much better than in many other states. So we know what our industry needs. So the skilling that happens, our Chief Minister also has this wonderful initiative called Nan Mudal One Skill. And we've been working closely with the industry to make sure that the syllabi is also tweaked for demand that's going to come up. If you look at our ITIs now, they're world class. They look like shop floors, much better than many other industries also do. Where our children, our students, our youngsters get trained at cutting edge tech, and they are trained to meet the demand of the industry well ahead of the demand being created. So I think that way, those investors who come into Tamil Nadu, they know that they're going to get some really solid workforce within the state.
Right. So Dr. Raju, that leads me to a follow-up question on skilling. In terms of innovation, especially in the EV space, let's be honest, we are far, far behind, especially on battery tech. There is a bit of a gap as a nation as well. From a state point of view, what's being done on the R&D side? You have a lot of R&D players here, traditional ones. You've got Mahindra Research Valley. You've got Stellantis also, which is doing a fair bit of their R&D over here, and Nissan as well. But a lot more needs to be done. What can be done to, let's say, really foster innovation and R&D in the state?
So R&D is very, very something which is very, very close to our Chief Minister's heart. And we're going to have a lot of center of excellence is coming up, headed by a really good research firm and really good places to develop your R&D skills on. You do know that we already have a very good R&D ecosystem in place, but we do have to build on it. And we recognize that. And I think we'll be able to do a better job.
So what you're saying is on the R&D side also a fair bit is being... can you be more specific as to, you said you want to prevent the brain drain. I mean, is it just to make the environment here more conducive for innovation in that sense?
See, patents coming out of India, this is our outputs coming out of India, are not that great. We do know that if you look at places like the US or less in Europe, especially the Scandinavian countries, the kind of output they give we can't even compare with what they have. So what we are trying to do is first see why they are going, why are they moving. You know how brain, all these really talented tech brains work. It's not the money, it's the excitement that research gives them. So we're going to try and address that and solve the gap.
Yeah. Dr. Rajaa, again, coming back to fiscal incentives and SOPs and subsidies, which really is what is driving the EV business and its nascent stage right now. It needs support at both central and state level. So if you can just summarize what you've got the PLI at one level. You've got to, from a state level, can you be more specific as to what you're doing overall?
But whenever somebody wants to come in and set shop, the speed at which you set shop here in Tamil Nadu is unmatched, right?
Right.
So we are improving on our plug-and-play facilities.
Right.
So you decide to come in, you can come in, set up shop within a few months, max a year and a half. And you can, at the same time, you will have your own facility also coming up. We are building our land base also. We do have close to about 40,000 acres already lined up. We want to push that up to about 50K. So all these things, I think, will be attractive for people who are willing to come in and set up shop.
So talking specifically about your land base, interesting, 50,000 acres is what you said.
That's the target.
That's the target. But let's be honest, land is now really expensive. I mean, if you see the your traditional industrial belts right now, where this plant is, for example, super expensive. I mean, does that take away from your competitive advantage, and what are you doing to address that?
The SIPCOT and the department is really trying to curtail that issue. But you do know, everybody accepts that when you come into a developed state like this, land prices are an issue. That I think we can manage by helping, subsidizing that via our incentives also.
Right. But is there any others you're developing more towards the south? I mean, is that...
See, our chief minister wants to develop the delta and the south. He wants to concentrate there, where there's traditionally not been that much of a industrialization. So yes, when industries come to the south, we do want to incentivize them more than what we're doing in elsewhere in the state.
Right. And, just a few more questions on, talking on, let's say, manufacturing. A different tack altogether is the other issue is semiconductor chips, which now every nation is thinking of after the crisis of having manufacturing on their own soil. I mean, you think Tamil Nadu is looking at that, but, creating a fab is very water intensive and water is a problem here. So is that on the end, is that something you're thinking of or not right?
I would say specifically, but water is not we are taking care of the water issue. We are extremely interested in bringing all these semicon industries in. We do have a special team working on that line alone.
Sorry, a team for semiconductor?
Yes, alone, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, for that alone, we do have a separate team working on looking at investors who are really big investors who will come in and set shop very quickly. We have advanced talks with a few, and I'm sure within the next year and a half, we should have some big announcements on this.
Right, big announcements all the time.
Looks like.
Interesting. And just last question, you've got governments traditionally have a very, very large IC fleet. Any plans to get them switched to EVs now? I mean, that would be, walking the talk in a way.
Yes. See, right now we are bringing in about 500 buses. There's a 500 crore line from KFW, and I think around a few hundred buses are being picked up by the transport department.
Right.
We do want to switch very soon. There is another plan to switch vehicles within Chennai first, all the buses within Chennai first. So these things are something which will create demand in the state also, and I'm sure we will be able to crack that within the next year.
Right. Super. And Dr. Raju, before I let you go, let's go for a spin.
Oh, yeah.
I think you're most comfortable behind the wheel. So let's continue the chat over there.
All right.
So, Dr. Rajaa, I can see you enjoy driving. First, tell me, are you a bit of a car nut or
Yeah. Well, my life I spent on my car.
Really?
So when I was, sort of not into politics so much in the early 20s, then I used to live in a car. Used to live in my the Tata Sierra.
Oh, yeah.
I used to be mine.
They're bringing back the Tata Sierra.
Yeah, I was really excited to see it.
Yeah. And it's going to be electric, by the way. So that you should be even more excited.
Probably then. Well, hope they start building it in town.
Yeah, you got to convince them.
Oh, yeah, we are trying to get into the Tatas, right?
Right. But just talking about plants, obviously there was some talk about Tata's even looking at the Ford plant. Just specific to the Ford plant, it went quite smoothly, compensating the workers and stuff like that. Ford honestly did their bit. Would you like to see that plant humming again because it's now, in a way, defunct?
Yeah, that is something which we want to look at, but it is also prime property, prime real estate. Right, we are thinking, yes, if there is somebody who can come in and pick it up, yes, of course, that'll be our first choice. But there is another angle to it also, that we should do a
development there.
Probably a bigger development there. So that is also on the cards. But yes, there are talks with few big companies which are willing to come in and set up. So if they are willing to come in immediately, then probably they could take it up.
So, I just want to talk on the EV side of it. Clearly, a very small percentage of adoption right now. What more do you think needs to be done to, really accelerate the pace of adoption?
And charging infra is something which we really are concentrating very heavily nowadays. I think that industry needs to also kick in. They'll have to pull up their socks a bit. I don't know why they're a bit slow. They are receptive to our calls and they are coming in a good way, but not in the big way that we want them.
The view is that the economics are not.
No, I see that's where the government is also willing to help them. The Tamil Nadu government is willing to help them put up their infra. We're going to sort of share their cost also, if possible, in certain zones. And
would be open to share the cost.
Of course, yeah, in certain zones, yes. But we are looking out for really good big players to come into the charging infra space. The charging infra space, they'll have to come in first.
Right.
They'll have to get invested first. And then, of course, on the long term, I think they will make some...
And a bit of a chicken and egg situation,
yeah.
Because I think once they kind of...
But I think we'll be able to pull them in very soon with our incentives, yes.
Right. Incentives for the charging.
Yeah. That I would openly say yes.
Right. Okay, that's good. Rajaa, talking about, let's say, what is your forecast? 2030, Europe is going to go full EV, so they say. Any predictions you have? Obviously, I'd like your thoughts, even at a national level and where Tamil Nadu will fit into, let's say, the future growth and what, electrification is going to be at the end of the decade.
I think the next 2 years are very crucial in how the union gives us stuff like the PLIs and other incentives. And beyond that, I think it's not just Tamil Nadu, right? It's as a nation, we'll have to take that step in the right direction. The ICE is not going to go out anytime soon in probably another 15 years.
We might be last market standing in ice, let's be honest. And it's not a bad thing also,
Yeah, for a lot of other reasons. But yes, but Tamil Nadu, as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned, I think by 2035,
Okay.
35, I think we'll be close to full EV. 30, something around 30. But I'm sure a complete commercialized fleet will also be EV by then.
Okay.
Because we do switch early, we do.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think, I think 35 would be a realistic target.
To be full EV.
I think so.
Even PVs, passenger vehicles as well.
Yes, because we are giving a big push in the commercial side. I do want to see this by 2035 though.
How are you pushing OEMs to be, let's say, go towards carbon net zero in their manufacturing, processes and their plants? Because in the end, everyone has to go towards.
We can talk about the Nissan's plant here.
Right.
They have a global target of 2050, but the Tamil Nadu plant has a target of 2045.
Right.
So that's how big we are here in Tamil Nadu. And Tamil Nadu makes it easier for you to go towards the net zero goal. Because our chief minister already has this target of doubling the green space in Tamil Nadu already. We are 22% green. Our green cover is at 22% today, 23, close to 23, and we want to go up to 33% very soon in the next 10 years. That's about 11,000 square kilometers of greening in the next 10 years. That also is going to help you with your green efforts. You're going to manufacture in the greenest state.
Right.
If the pollution control board and the environment department, everybody is working in tandem to make sure that the targets are met. And it's also going to be, we are also trying to make it easier for the investors, for the manufacturers here to reach that target earlier by helping them put in infrastructure that is necessary for it.
And last question, Rajaa, again on a personal side, you've seen EVs, you've driven EVs. Let's say, I mean, I don't want to pin you, but what's any favorite EV? Any EVs you like? What do you like in an EV? Is it performance? Obviously, they've all been green. Is that instant torque? What's your kind of, let's say,
You're surely not going to get any names from me because I don't want any of the manufacturers to not come into look at my preference and not come into Tamil Nadu.
Yeah, fine.
But yes, I do have favorites, but I really can't speak about it.
Yeah. But what do you
But
like?
I'm quite surprised about how the ranges have increased over the past few years. Even the two-wheelers, the range is also increased. And I think once this adoption increases, the R&D side will also be even kicked about it, and I'm sure we're going to see some faster, bigger numbers in the EV sector.
Really great, chatting with you. But again, I just want to end on one last note. Tamil Nadu, EV capital of India. It's there. I mean, if you look at the numbers on the two-wheeler side, definitely with Ola, TVS, these guys are right in the top two. Passenger vehicle side, clearly Hyundai's got big plans, and others, I think Renault, Nissan also, I think they'll start a bit late, but they will be there. So, clearly you're not going to let go of this position you're in, and one can assume, and I think you want to end on saying that you are going to increase your market share of EV production even further, because it's a very competitive business. I mean, there's Maruti coming in with EVs as well. So, I think you've not managed to attract them as yet. Yeah.
We are in talks with a lot of new players also. You don't know, the EV space has a lot of new players, not unlike the traditional players.
Or the legacy guys.
Or the legacy guys. So these guys are also coming in. Many of the new ones are in talks with us. And I think in the next 6-7 months, you're going to see some really good names coming in. Probably by the Global Investors Meet that we're going to have in Jan, or the second week of Jan in Tamil Nadu, we're going to see some, I'm expecting some good MOUs during the...
So good announcements then?
Hopefully.
Right.
Hopefully. I did say it is a competitive market, so we are trying to get cracking. I think we will be able to do something very soon, yeah.
Well, Dr. Rajaa, it's really been a pleasure talking to you. Appreciate your passion, your commitment to especially the EV space, and wish you all the best.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.